Hey guys, this is Evan from EzOrigami, and today I'll be teaching you how to fold an Origami Royal Rose Kusudama designed by Maria Sinayskaya. This is a beautiful modular design, and it's perfect for Mother's Day. This model requires 12 square sheets of paper. Each unit is folded from one square, and in order to fold each unit, you'll eventually divide the paper into thirds. So instead of approximating, I'll teach you how to make a folding tool which will help you quickly divide each square into thirds. You will need 12 squares to fold the units, and you'll need an additional square of the same size for the folding tool, so you'll need a total of 13 equally sized squares. And I recommend using 6-inch or larger squares with the same color on both sides to fold this model. Using 6-inch squares will result in a model about 4.5 inches wide. And thicker paper such as Taunt and Star Dream also seem to work really well with this model. And I'm going to be using larger paper with color on one side and white on the other, just to make it a bit easier to follow along. And we're going to start by making the folding tool. So take one square and make sure it's the same size as the other 12 squares that you will use for the units. And once you've prepared your paper, then we're going to start by folding in half diagonally. So take this bottom right corner and fold it up to the top left corner. Align the corners and the edges, then make your crease, and then unfold. And now we're going to fold up this bottom edge and align it with the diagonal crease that we just created. So we're just going to pull up the bottom edge like this, and we want to start at the bottom left corner and work our way up and over to the right, aligning that edge with the crease. Just like this. And once everything is aligned, then you can make your crease, and then you can unfold. Then we're going to rotate the paper so that the two creases we just made now extend from this top right corner. And from here we're going to fold over this right edge and align it with this top crease that we just made. So we're going to start by pulling this right edge over to the left, and we want to start at the top right corner and work our way down and over to the left until the entire edge is aligned with that crease. Just like this, and then you can make your crease, and then you can unfold. And now I want you to notice this point here where the crease that we just made intersects with this bottom edge. And what we want to do is fold this bottom right corner over to align with that point. So we're just going to pull over the right edge of the paper, just like this, until that bottom corner aligns with that intersection. And before you make your crease, you want to make sure that the vertical edges on the top and the bottom of the model are aligned as well. And once everything is aligned, then you can make your crease. Then we're going to rotate the paper 180 degrees, and this is your completed folding tool. And once you have this, then we're going to take one of the 12 squares that we prepared for the units, and we're going to hold it with the white side up. Then we're going to lift up our first square, and we want to slide it in between the two layers of the folding tool by pushing it over to the left as far as it'll go. You want to push it over until the left edge of the square aligns with this left folded edge on the folding tool. And from here we're going to fold over the right edge of our square and align it with this colored edge on the folding tool. So we're just going to pull over the right edge of the paper, just like this, until both of those colored edges are aligned. Then you can make your crease, and then we can pull our square outside of the folding tool. And then you can put the folding tool aside. Then you can unfold this colored flap, and then we want to fold over this left edge and align it with the vertical crease that we just created. So we're just going to lift up this left edge and pull it over to the right until the colored edge is completely aligned with that vertical crease. Then you can make your crease, and then you can unfold. And now you'll see that you've divided your square into thirds. Then we're going to turn the paper over, and we want to fold up this bottom right corner and align it with this rightmost vertical crease. So we're just going to pull the bottom right corner over to the left, and once this small white edge aligns with that vertical crease, then you can make your crease. And now we're going to fold over the bottom left corner and align it with that same vertical crease. So we're just going to pull that corner over to the right, just like this. And once the white edge is aligned with that vertical crease and the flap that we just folded over, then you can make your crease. And then you can unfold. Then we're going to rotate the paper 180 degrees, and we're going to do the same exact thing. So once again, we're going to start with this bottom right corner, and we want to align it with this rightmost vertical crease. So we're just going to pull that corner over to the left, and once the small white edge is aligned with that vertical crease, then you can make your crease. Then we're going to fold over this bottom left corner, and again align it with the rightmost vertical crease. So we're just going to pull it over to the right, just like this, and you'll see that the white corner will also align with this crease intersection here. Then you can make your crease, and then you can unfold. And then we're going to turn the paper over. And now we're going to make a crease that pivots from this bottom corner here. So what we want to do is lift up this bottom right corner, and we want to slightly pinch the paper at that point just so that our crease starts there. Then we want to pivot this colored flap around that point, just like this, and we want to adjust it until this colored corner aligns with this vertical crease here. And once this edge reaches those two reference points, then you can make your crease. Then we're going to rotate the paper 180 degrees, and we're going to do the same exact thing. So we're just going to lift up the bottom right corner, and we want to slightly pinch the paper at that point just to make sure our crease starts there. Then you want to slightly adjust this colored flap while pivoting around that point until this colored corner aligns with this vertical crease. And once the edge reaches both of those references, then you can make your crease. And from here we're going to fold over the right side of the model along this existing vertical crease. And we're going to do that by pulling the right side of the model over to the left, but we don't want to crease all the way. We want to start at the top of the model and work our way down until you reach this point here where the diagonal crease intersects with the crease that we just made. Then from here we want to fold this colored flap over to the right along that existing diagonal crease, so we're simply going to fold it over like this. Then you want to reinforce that crease along the inside of the model, just like this. And at this point you'll notice that the model does not lie flat. And the idea is to keep this edge curved to give the unit a more organic shape. So what we want to do is fold that edge over to the inner colored edge here. So we're just going to align both of those edges, just like this. And as you're making this crease, you'll notice that you're just reinforcing a crease on a layer below. And you want to make sure that you don't completely flatten out the model, because we want to keep this edge curved. And once you have that, then we're going to rotate the paper 180 degrees, and we're going to do the same thing. So again, we're going to start by folding the right side of the model over to the left, along this existing vertical crease here. So we're just going to pull it over to the left like this, but again, we don't want to crease all the way. We want to start at the top of the model and work our way down until you reach this point here where the diagonal crease intersects with the crease that we were just making. Then we want to fold this colored flap over to the right along that existing diagonal crease. So we're just going to fold it over like that, and you carefully want to reinforce that crease along the inside of the model. And again, you'll notice this curved edge here, and what we want to do is fold that edge over to the left along this white edge inside. So we're just going to fold the edge in along that white edge there. And again, you're just reinforcing an existing crease on a layer below. And you don't want to completely flatten out the model because we want to leave this part curved to give the unit a more organic shape. And once you've done that on both sides, then we're going to slightly rotate the model. And now I want you to notice this white triangular flap here. And what we want to do is grab those layers from underneath just to untuck it a bit. Then from here we want to tuck this white triangular flap underneath this colored layer below. So we're going to do that by lifting up the model, and we carefully want to slide that triangular flap underneath the colored layer like this as far as it'll go. So just slide it all the way inside, flatten out the right side of the model, and then you can put everything back down. And once you have that, then we're going to rotate the paper 180 degrees, and we're going to do the same thing. So once again, we want to untuck this white triangular flap here by simply grabbing those layers from underneath. Then we want to tuck that white triangular flap underneath this colored layer below. So we're just going to lift up the model, and we're going to carefully slide that white flap underneath the colored layer, just like this. And then you can flatten out the right side of the model. And once you've done that, your model should look like this. And now we're going to make two mountain folds along these vertical edges here. But I find it easiest to do that by turning the model over, and you'll notice that it's a similar shape to a Sonobe unit. So what we want to do from here is fold this top right corner over to the top left corner. So we're going to carefully fold all of the layers over to the left like this until both of those points are aligned. And you want to make your crease through all layers except for this outer layer here, because as you can see from the side, we want to keep that layer curved. And once you've made that crease all the way through, then you can unfold. Then we're going to rotate the paper 180 degrees and do the same exact thing. So again, we're going to fold the top right corner over to the top left corner. And we're going to carefully fold over all layers, just like this. Then you can make your crease through all layers, except for that outer layer, because again, we want to keep that curved. Then you can unfold and turn the model back over. And now we want to make a valley fold along these diagonal edges in the center of the model here. So I find it easiest to do that by bringing these two opposite corners together. So if we just bring those two corners together like this, you'll see the paper will kind of collapse into place. Then you just want to make your crease along this edge here. So just crease through all layers. And then you can unfold. Once you have that, then you can quickly turn the model over. You'll see that you've made this diagonal crease here, which is very similar to a Sonobe unit. Then you can turn it over one last time. And this is one completed unit. Now you must fold 11 more. Once you've folded all 12 units, you're going to need 2 to start the assembly. Then, look at one, and you'll notice that it has a flap like this on each side, and it also has a pocket underneath these curved layers here on each side. So once again, we're going to take our second unit, and what we want to do is insert the second unit's flap inside of the first unit's pocket. And we're going to do that by lifting up both units, and then we want to bring them together, again making sure that the second unit's flap goes all the way inside of the first unit's pocket, just like this. And you want to slide both units together as far as they'll go, until they're completely aligned at the top and the bottom. Then from here we're going to slightly rotate the model so that we can see the front face of the second unit here. And then we're going to add a third unit the same way. So once again we're going to insert the third unit's flap inside of the second unit's pocket. And we're going to do that by lifting up all three units. And again we carefully want to bring the second and third units together, making sure that the third unit's flap goes all the way inside of the second unit's pocket. So just push those two units together like this until they're completely aligned at the top and the bottom. Then again we're going to slightly rotate the model so that we can see the front face of the third unit. And now we want to connect the first and third units together. So we're going to do that by inserting this unused flap on the first unit inside of the third unit's pocket. So we're simply going to pull out that flap from behind, and we carefully want to slide it inside of the third unit's pocket just like we've been doing. So we just want to bring the first and third units together just like this, and you want to push that flap inside as far as it'll go. Once you've done that, then you can bring all three units together. And now you can see that we've created a pyramid shape from these three units. And now we're going to continue adding units the same way by creating a 3-unit pyramid shape on the unused flaps of these three units here. And now you can see that we have 4 of these pyramid shapes. These are the 3 that we just created, and this is the original pyramid that we started with. So now we're going to continue making these pyramid shapes on the unused flaps around the outside here. And as you're doing this, you want to consider the underlying octahedral structure of this model. And that just means that 4 pyramid shapes will always come together at any given point. So if you look at this point here, you can see that the curved parts of these 4 units meet. And since we want 4 pyramids to come together at any given point, we just have to connect these 2 units to create the 4th one. So we're just going to bring those 2 units together, and you'll start to see the model taking its shape. So you just want to keep that in mind while you assemble the rest of the units. So you can just keep creating these 3-unit pyramid shapes, and you want to make sure that 4 of them come together at any given point. So you just want to continue adding units the same way until you've reached the last one. And once you've assembled all 12 units, then you may want to slightly adjust them just to make sure everything is completely aligned. And once you've done that, then I want you to notice the unused flaps on these pyramid shapes here. And what we want to do is basically curl the paper just to give it a more organic look. So you can either do that by hand by simply curling the paper like this, or I recommend using a folding tool. So you can just curl the paper like this, and you can work your way around the model until you've done that with the flaps on all of the pyramid shapes. And once you've done that on all sides, then your Origami Royal Rose Kusudama is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial on how to fold an Origami Royal Rose Kusudama designed by Maria Sinayskaya. Feel free to upload photos of your completed model to the YouTube gallery on my website to be featured here in my next video, or simply upload your photos to Instagram with the hashtag EzOrigami to be featured here as well. Also, be sure to check out Maria's website, Flickr, and Instagram feed for more of her excellent work. I'll post the links in the video description below. And if you like this video, definitely check out some of the other similar origami tutorials featured on my YouTube channel as well. Again, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and thank you for watching.